Good afternoon, wherever you are watching. This is the final take with me, Seni MK Mariner, live from our studios here in Seattle. Today, we have a special guest, Dr. Keba Jiba, retired Major of the Gambia Armed Forces. We'll be talking about the recent Gambia Senegal border crisis after the block incident, security risk, economic impact, and the way forward. My guest is a border and security analyst, risk analyst. So we'll be talking about his experience and what is the way forward about this unending border crisis. We'll take a quick break, and when we are back, we'll introduce our guest and then we will start the show shortly.
Tune into the final take with MK Mariner every Saturday on the Alcamba Times and experience extensive conversations on a variety of topics, including national and international headlines, breaking issues, and major developments in politics, business, innovation, science, and sports, along with inspiring stories and expert analysis to provide a comprehensive understanding of the news.
Welcome back, wherever you are tuning. This is the final take with me, Seni MK Marina. Today we have Dr. Keba Jiba, a security risk analyst and also an expert in border. As we know, the Senegalese are currently having border crisis with the Republic of the Gambia, and this has escalated. To discuss this and many more, I will bring in my guest, Mr. Dr. Keba Jiva, right here on the Alcamba Times. Welcome to the final take, Dr. Jiva.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Marina, for inviting me in your this important platform. And hopefully, in the next 1 hour,
Yeah.
we'll have a very excellent and perhaps interesting discussions with Mr. Marina. I am.
Yeah,
Thank
thank,
you so
thank
much.
you, thank you
Yeah.
very much, Dr. Keva Jiva. Dr. Keva, for those joining in, Dr. Keva served in the Gambia Armed Forces for many, many years, and now he holds a PhD, and he's mentoring a lot of young people in the country. Currently works at the SOS in Banjul. So, Doctor, thank you for joining us. For viewers who may only have seen the headlines, can you briefly and naturally walk us through what happened at Block Military Border Post on 16th July and why both sides have characterized the incident so differently as a security risk analyst? Dr. Keva, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you
Okay.
very much, Mr. Marina. Thank you so much, viewers. Uh, this is Alcamba Times platform, and uh, I can hear you very well, loud and clear. I don't know whether you can hear me. Yes, yes. I said thank you so much, Mr. Marina, and as you rightly said, for the past weeks, a lot of discussions have been centered on border security, and even of recent, we have seen similar activities also, or we've received similar reports happening in other part of the border, in the URR, in the CRR, and in West Coast region. And I think it is very important we first lay the foundation of the Senegambia relations, and we look at also the our regional body that the Gambia and Senegal are all part of. That is
Mhm,
ECOWAS.
mhm,
Yeah, when we look at ECOWAS, the formation of ECOWAS in 1975 May, I think it is 50 years this year, 51 years. ECOWAS have now 51 years since 1975.
mhm,
the founding fathers of ECOWAS came up with the establishment of ECOWAS to ensure that harmonization of our economic threats. And after the formation of this, we have also experienced several security issues. And the leaders in ECOWAS thought it very wise that it's important that they establish a department of uh, politics and security
Mhm.
in the ECOWAS departments. And Senegambia, we know Senegal and Gambia have a long-standing relations, and they have shared several values, which other scholars have stated that the two countries, if there would be any integration in Africa, I think it will first start with Gambia and Senegal. However, we've also observed some uh, security issues way back in the former, in the First Republic, coming down to
Yeah,
the
in the
Second
80s. Yeah. Hmm.
Republic, from the First Republic under President Jawara, the late
Hmm.
President Jawara,
Yeah.
and Jammeh came in '94 and also inherited.
Mhm.
And now in 2016, we saw another government in the Second Republic also inheriting,
Mhm.
you know, the same or similar, but a different uh, perspective on terms of security and governance, especially on border issues. So when we saw that issue in around 2009, coming to 2012, these border issues continued
Mhm.
to emerge around the southern belt of the Gambia and Senegal. That
Mhm.
is Dasilame belt, Dasilame uh, going towards Fonyi end.
Mhm.
And having said that, uh, a lot of issues, communities also get involved. And these communities having that long-standing relations with their fellow community, in that belt, and they
Mhm.
have intermarriage. They've gone into intermarriages and other family relationship. And until 2015, when the issue, another issue also rise up. This was during the Jammeh's era,
Yeah.
and Gambia and Senegal, engaged in some military skirmishes in
Yeah.
2015. That resulted
Yeah.
to our border commission to take a stand to see how best they could do to make sure that they resolve this particular issue amicably between the two countries. However, uh, it failed at some point because in 2015, the Senegalese government came with some GIZ and GPS that when they shoot those GPS, I tell you, it will take even Botrop, part of Casamas,
Hmm.
the Brikama itself, part
Yeah,
of the
Brikama,
Brikama
where the
is
high
under
school is.
Casamas.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
this made the former president, immediately sanction, cease the negotiations that they have to go.
Mhm. Dr. Keba, can you hear me? Dr. Keba, can you hear me? It seems I can hear Dr. Keba. Dr. Keba, can you hear me? Okay, that was Dr. Keba Jiba talking to me about the Gambia-Senegal border crisis in this exclusive interview with me on the final take with Seni Marina. But it seems we lost Keba. I will put him back. I think he just... Hello, Mr.
Maybe.
Keba, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think the nature of our internet connectivity here is a little bit.
Paul, I
Yeah.
can imagine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in 2015, the Gambia Border Commission, you know, went and sat with their counterparts
Mhm.
to resolve this issue. And when the Senegalese came, the sad part of it is Gambia is very committed in ensuring that these border issues are resolved because they've been very accommodative at all this point. But you imagine when you have when the government send in delegates for these discussions, your counterparts are bringing it. You imagine the Gambia would send in a minister, the minister of defense will go, the minister of interior will go, the governor of West Coast region would go, the minister of local government will all go,
Mhm.
the chief of defense staff, would
Yeah,
all show up
all
to
the
make
high
sure that they
ranking
have their
officials from the Gambian side will
yes,
attend.
yes, would all go, as a Gambian delegate, just to be received, just to see the other part coming with their sous-prefet. Sous-prefet. The sous-prefet is the most genial local authority in Senegal. Would be the one that they
So,
would
doctor,
send
you
in.
want to tell me that this border crisis unfolding now, there is lack of a serious political commitment on the side of Senegal, right?
Yes, I would say there is no serious commitment from the side of Senegal. So that was why when the issue of block emerged came
Yeah,
in, and I think the following day the government of the Gambia also sent in their position on this,
for it,
and
yeah, yeah.
yes, and then we saw again the Senegalese authorities also replying and saying they have been this thing has been they have been taking on these issues for quite so long, which you know, uh, I believe they have not made justice to that. They probably trying to mislead the Gambian people, or trying to mislead international community that they have been, putting on this because Senegalese, the military, their military and our military have no business in demarcating any part of their territories to say
Mhm.
that this is Senegal, neither this is Gambia.
So
They have no business in that.
whose mandate is that in terms of border demarcation? Because what we have seen recently is unprecedented. We have never seen so much force being used by Senegal to solve this border demarcation issue. And from my understanding, border demarcation issues had to do with diplomacy. It's diplomatic. You cannot solve border issues militarily unless otherwise. So why don't you think Senegal is not using military solution, diplomatic solution, but instead resorting to military solution to this border issue? Because just Friday in Nyamina and in Fuladu, we have received similar reports of the Zandamori going into border communities, borderline communities, asking residents to stop, cultivated in these farmlands, which Gambia claim it has been there since time immemorial.
I think when you look at all these incidents, like I said, Senegal, it's very surprising to see Senegal using or coming up with some military uh, maneuverings in the name of they are here to make or identify areas that they believe are part of the Senegalese territory. For me, it is not their responsibilities. If anybody who perhaps might be giving them those authorities. Perhaps the person or that leader is indeed trying to play games that is not expected of the two countries who share the same, values or common values, and where Gambia and Senegal, for the past 10 years, their neighborliness, I think, is unprecedented. Why
Right,
I'm saying
right.
unprecedented, the current government, we saw in 2016 how Senegal also have an interest, how they inserted themselves in the internal politics and security governance in the Gambia. So if it has to be anybody doing that, it would be very surprising to see Senegal, taking their military power and coming to Gambia to say, here is our territory. And the worst part that I would say, if their military had destroyed perhaps buildings of probably civilians or communities, one would say yes, probably. But they have gone far. They have gone far to now hitting a military, installations of a sovereign state.
Yeah.
This is very provocative. This is unacceptable, and it's also seen as perhaps, making certain provocations that will make Gambian go into war with Senegal,
Yeah.
probably at that level. But for me, I would say Senegal being the aggressors. They are the aggressors. I think
So
they
in
are
this case, Senegal is the aggressor,
I
right?
just read a piece from Luis
Yeah.
Farrakhan, who,
Yeah.
in his remarks against Iran and US, he cited that aggressors are always the losers. What is good? What is good in having that good neighborliness between Gambia and Senegal? We shared so many. Yes, they are aggressors.
That was Dr. Keba Jiva. Very interesting conversation, but he's finding the internet connection back home very difficult to connect. He's going to join us back again. So, those tuning in, this is the final take with me, Seni Marena. We are talking about the latest happenings between the Gambia and Senegal in this crisis that we have seen from Bullock now spreading into other parts of the border communities in the Gambia. So we have seen that Senegal, since the block incident, are not resting. They are going around to many, many border communities this past week, threatening Gambian farmers to stop cultivating in what they claim is a land that is form part of Senegal. Dr. Keba is back
Yes.
again. I will bring him to the studio to continue this conversation. Dr. Jiba, are you back? Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead before I ask you another question, because you are touching on an area which is very, very interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, because one thing that I want to, in fact, begin with this this conversation is bringing you some of the theories. That is some of the theories that would anchor on our this discussion. One is the neo-colonialist, the neo-functionalist theory, and also the complex interdependency theory. When you look at the neo-functionalist theory, they believe in supranational bodies. And here, the supranational bodies, we have ECOWAS, we have African Union, we have the UN, we have other supranational bodies. And what is bad in Senegal if they believe Gambian, have encroached into their lands? Some of us are saying Senegalese democracy is they've gone far. They've gone far. But with the happenings in our border has shown how Senegal have reduced themselves. How they have reduced themselves to, either a pariah state. Because one would wonder why Senegal
Doctor, why? Okay, Doctor, I didn't want to cut you short.
Military,
but why? Why do you think
just to come and demolish a military of your neighbor, of your most closest neighbors?
I didn't want to cut you short. If you can hear me, Dr. Jiva, I just
Say
want to
again.
ask you why all of a sudden, Gambia and Senegal has been living, peacefully, for many, many, decades. And we have seen different leadership. We have seen the leadership of Senghor with Jaura. We have seen Ablai Wada with Jaura. We have also seen, President Macky Sall leadership. So all of a sudden, the Basir Jamoy Faye leadership, all of a sudden, is doing everything possible to, claim Senegalese to claim what he believes is a land that belongs to Senegal. And we have never seen this. Anyway, guys, Dr. Jiba is having some connections issues back home, but my technical guy
Can you
is trying to
again?
bring him back. Oh, go ahead, Doctor.
No, I mean, can you go ahead? I have not heard your last questions that you.
Yeah, no, my last question was, Doctor, why all of a sudden now? Because we have seen successive Senegalese government, Senghor, Ablai Wade, Macky Sall, and now Bassirou Diomaye Faye. Why all of a sudden Senegal is focusing so much on their territorial gains, until encroaching into Gambian lands? Why all of a sudden? Why the dynamic shift?
I think it is it's very surprising. It is very surprising, very surprising to see the Senegalese taking this particular approach, because we would say that.
Doctor, it seems your light went off. Did Nawek just take your light?
Yes, Nawek take our light.
Oh, unfortunately. So we'll manage that. I know it's electricity crisis in the Gambia, it's border crisis in the Gambia. So there's a lot of crisis in the Gambia.
Go ahead. I have my yes.
Okay, we'll manage with your lighting in us. The most important thing is what is coming out from you. So go ahead, Doctor.
Yes. Yes. It is very surprising to note that the administration of Jomai and would come to this level. We have seen, some of us have not witnessed Senghor. We are not, but Abdou Diouf, we met part of Abdou Diouf and the former president's relationship, and we saw Abdou Diouf and Jammeh relationship was not that much. Probably at the first months or the first years, they had a very good relationship with Senegal, and Jammeh and Ablai Wade, we saw their relationship was not that much. Also, Kuzi, we saw Macky Sall. Macky Sall first year of in governance, they had a very good relationship with Jammeh, because he, in fact, his first visit after election was the Gambia. First visit was Gambia, but at some point they have severed ties. They severed their ties, and with Jomai coming, until Macky Sall, then Macky had a very good relationship with the coalition partners in 2016, 2017, because one would say this is Senegal. They are the first country that ever presented the Gambia's case at the UN Security Council. In the 2016 post-election of the presidential elections, Senegal presented the case to the UN Security Council. Senegal took the lead. Senegal took the lead that Gambia are our neighbors, that when there is a problem in the Gambia, Senegal would be affected economically, politically, and even security-wise. Senegal is going to be affected, and they will not sit idle to see Gambia, getting into, another probably Somalia or wherever conflict zone. So they are not going to sit idle. And now Jomai coming in again. We saw he has made several visits. Barrow also made several visits to Senegal. And a month before all these activities happened, we saw the Banjul Dakar presidential
whatever
meeting, you call it. Barrow flew to Dakar and had discussions. Jomai flew to Gambia and had discussions. And
Dr. Jiba, not to cut you short, but
flew to Gambia to seek for our government support in his bidding to it at the UN.
Right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I didn't wanna cut you
So
short.
we saw all this, that we are expecting. The relationship between Senegal and Gambia is, is in the hive, is very strong. We know it's getting very stronger and stronger. And just about a week so, we saw the Senegalese military, because coming and in causal provocations into our military barracks. I think they have let us down. The Senegalese have let us down on this side, because we couldn't imagine. I'm sure Barrow would not even imagine that this thing would happen. And you saw how the presidential security is, majority of them are Senegalese.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I don't know whether it's majority of them are Senegalese. So now, if
it's not majority of them. All of them are Senegalese. It's not majority of them. The presidential security detail is entirely. It's entirely.
No, because I know the security detail. I understand the security setup. Because we have a commander, state guard commander, who is a Gambian.
Yeah.
But the Senegalese, the Barrow's presidential protection officer is a Senegalese. So it's a blended, blended security.
Okay.
That's why I said majority of them are Senegalese. To qualify it, majority of them
are Senegalese.
Okay.
Dr. Jiba, you have spent years working on Senegambian border. That's the border between Gambia and Senegal. In your assessment, is the block incident an isolated flare-up, or does it sit within a larger pattern of unsolved demarcation and operational friction? Because we have seen other incidents outside of a block. Because when the block incident happened, we have seen how Gambians from all walks of life, from political divide, condemning the action of the Senegalese. Even the government of the Gambia came up the following day, issue a statement, condemning the act. They say it's a provocation from Senegal, and then President Barrow has to even send in Foreign Minister Njai, who met Jamoy Faye in Dakar. They have a discussion. The discussion was on border and also to congratulate Jamoy on his election as ECOWAS president. Less than 1 week after that, we have seen Senegalese gendarmerie coming into Gambian border communities in Fuladu and Nyamina, asking them to stop farming because that land belongs to. Do you think that Senegal actually respect Gambian sovereignties, or do you think they want to solve this issue diplomatically or militarily? Because what we have seen, I as a journalist, we have reported this matter extensively, but what I have seen is that Senegal is trying to solve this border issue militarily. Doctor.
Yes, I think Senegal violated even Article 27 of the ECOWAS protocols.
Give us, what did the article say? What did Article 27 say?
Yes, the Article 27 of the ECOWAS state that is the treaty establishing the ECOWAS affirms that a long-term objective to establish community citizenship that could be acquired automatically by all member states, nationals. And it is in their preamble where the free movement of goods, services, and people, and also residents in the member states. Mm-hmm. Like Gambia is a member state of ECOWAS. Likewise, Senegal is also a member state. So if Senegalese should go and say, okay, these farmers where they are is part of Senegal, therefore they shouldn't farm. Gambia is not only a country which has borders. There are African countries that also border, and they have similar issues. The same commonalities with Gambia and Senegal, what they are experiencing. And I also want to see that currently the current ECOWAS chairman or chairperson is Jomai. We saw the president of ECOWAS is General Biram Diop. And now the supranational bodies that I was talking about the the neo-functionalist theory, where the Senegal now the leaders have taken leadership of ECOWAS. I think they should be exercising more of leadership.
Power, yeah, and influence.
Yes, because the ECOWAS have handed over they have the trust. The member countries of ECOWAS have handed Senegal all this leadership. So Senegal should be a country to lead with examples when it comes to respecting the institutions of ECOWAS. They could influence. They could take this matter with very cautious and following the instruments that are laid by the very institution that has given them the mandate for 4 years and for 1 year, respectively. So I think Senegal, that's why I said they are beginning. People, Gambian government should see Senegal as a brother, but also when it comes to the governance, there's nothing like brothers. Like President Barrow is, when he won in the election, he was sworn in to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. And he has no powers. Let me tell you this. No president in this country have right to cede even 1 meter of our country to another country. Anybody who does that is committing a high treasonable offense. Let me tell you. I don't know whether you want. Let me.
And whose responsibility is to safeguard our territorial integrity? Because, Doctor, you are a former military officer. I'm coming to this, and I need your independent assessment of the situation. A lot of Gambians are not happy with the Gambia Armed Forces because they believe the Gambia Armed Forces' duty and responsibility is to protect our independent sovereignty. And when the block incident happened, the Gambian military stand and watch Senegalese bulldoze a 200-meter fence of their military installation. Doctor, as a former major in the Gambia Armed Forces, what do you think about the action of Gambia Armed Forces in trying to protect, the territorial sovereignty of the Republic of the Gambia?
As a country, we have 3 arms of government. As a country, we have 3 arms of government. We have the executive, and we have legislature, and we have the judiciary. And the executive in our constitution, that is the president, who is elected by the majority or by the popular, votes. He becomes the president. And that name of commander-in-chief comes from that he has that is given that mandate by the constitution of the Gambia through the military. When the president is to uphold and protect the sovereignty of the country, it is through which means it's through the armed forces. That is where this commander-in-chief. So the armed forces, the president would use that instrument of the armed forces to police the borders of the jurisdiction of the country. And the military takes orders from a legitimate authority. The Gambian Armed Forces would take, just like how Senegalese military would do. Gambian military take orders from the legitimate authority, and that is the executive arm of, and that is no any other person other than President Barrow. It's only President Barrow who can declare war between the Gambia and Senegal. No chief of defense staff have that powers.
But do you think that we are talking about?
Also have another power.
Hold on. We are talking about. We are talking about the 3 arms of government, and you said the president is the only guy with legal authority to declare a war against another country without parliamentary approval, Doctor. Without a parliamentary approval?
Yes. Yes. No, he can declare. He has the authority. He has that authority to declare war in consultation. In consultation with the parliament.
Okay.
But there are circumstances that would also there are circumstances when the country is at risk. When the country is at risk, emergency, You
Yeah.
cannot wait for parliamentary approval.
Yeah, approval. Yeah, even in America that happens here.
But
Right,
here,
they bypass.
at
They
this
but they
incursion, that
bypass the
provocative incursion,
Congress. Yeah.
I will say that the Gambian Armed Forces did, yes, 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 yes. So it requires, that is when yes, you can bypass the Congress when the risk level is very high.
Right.
When the
Yeah.
risk levels are very high, you cannot bring in Parliament, call an emergency for Parliament too. You cannot do that. But with it has to be done responsibly, because we believe a president is a responsible person.
So what do
when
you
you
think
occupy
about
that
the
office,
action?
you are seen as very responsible, the highest office of the land. And the armed forces, any directive they are to do, any action they're supposed to do, they take command from the military, from their commander in chief. It's the only police. The police can tell you, okay, we go into the constitution, we want to see what laws, what clauses stated this and that before they act. But the armed forces take command. They take command from the president. No any other officer in the government can give command to the armed forces to go to take such kind of risky job. So here, I would say that the armed forces were very restrained. They were so restrained and very professional in dealing with that crisis. The destruction of properties could be fixed, but what of when there are loss of lives? Would there be any? Life is irreplaceable. So our armed forces acted professionally with restraint to ensure that they don't go into a situation where there will be loss of lives. That will cost lives.
So you think what the military did was the best thing to do?
And also,
what you
and
think
also,
what the military did
the
was the best
Senegalese
thing to do?
government should thank Gambia government. So thank the Gambia for creating that peaceful atmosphere in the southern belt. Let me tell you. That area, just about a kilometer, there was a rebel camp in that area. In Kurek. There is a rebel camp in Kurek.
That is a major Jiba talking about the security implication of the Senegalese military activities along the border. That's me, your host, Seni MK Marina. We will try to connect back, Major, for this very interesting conversation unfolding right here. But before then, we will take a quick break and we will be back shortly.
Tune into the final take with MK Marina every Saturday on the Alcamba Times and experience extensive conversations on a variety of topics, including national and international headlines, breaking issues, and major developments in politics, business, innovation, science, and sports, along with inspiring stories and expert analysis to provide a comprehensive understanding of the news.
Welcome back, wherever you are tuning in. This is the final take with me, Seni MK Marina, live from our virtual studios here in Seattle. My guest today is Dr. Keba Jiba, Major Retire, a former member of the Gambia Armed Forces, who is now a security risk analyst, breaking down the recent events unfolding at the Gambia border with Senegal. We are talking about the security implication as well as the economic implication of the action of Senegalese forces. If Dr. Keba is in, we'll bring him right now to continue the conversation. Let me check if Mr. Keba is back in the studio. If not, we will take another short break. And when we are back, we will continue the conversation.
Tune into the final take with MK Mariner every Saturday on the Alcamba Times and experience extensive conversations on a variety of topics, including national and international headlines, breaking issues, and major developments in politics, business, innovation, science, and sports, along with inspiring stories and expert analysis to provide a comprehensive understanding of the news.
Okay, it seems my guest is back after that short break. Dr. Kiba, welcome back to the final take. That's a very interesting conversation. I wish Nawekan Internet can leave you alone from Banjul so we can continue this brilliant conversation. Because, you know, when you have people who have knowledge about areas, it's important to digest this important issue. So I'm glad to have you on this show. So go ahead, Dr. Jiba, before I asked you another question with regards to this border crisis. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, the Gambia from 2017 to date has played a lead role or a key role in bringing peace in that southern belt of Senegal, or that southern part of Senegal, from 2017 to date. We can give credit to the government for that because of Senegal. For the past 40 years, they struggled to dominate that southern belt, that southern part of Casamance, because of rebellion in that area.
Yeah.
You know, with Jammeh 22 years, Senegal do not even have that courage to, you know, to move even a unit of a rebel camp in that area. But thanks to 2017, Gambia government supported morally, supported, you know, give them the base, gave them the base to have access to most of the rebel camps. And thank God today Senegal have that they have that courage to go into that area. It's because of the Gambia government. So for me, I would have thought maybe during Jammeh's time they could have done that, but Barrow's time nobody would ever thought that Senegal can go that far to, you know, bring in the establishment that is being managed by the very government that have entrusted its heart. When I said this government entrusted Senegal its heart, that is the State House. That is the highest seat of, you know, the Gambia, you know,
the citadel of power. It's the citadel of power.
Yes. Yes. The government gave them everything. The government gave them that courage in the phonies. Where we saw in 2022, what happened? Which way did they use until they several of their soldiers were arrested, some lost their life. It was through the phony. They never came from Casamance. They entered in the Gambia, in the Gambian soil, to get into Lisbon.
Doctor, I want to ask you this question. Do you think that the Gambia has mortgaged its security to Senegal? If yes, what are the far-reaching implications of Gambia's action to allow Senegalese forces to have, you know, command at key national institutions like the presidency and in the Fonyi, with bordered the southern part of Senegal with Gambia?
Yes, I think we should not also forget in 2016, a lot of things had happened, especially the media are now, you know, point fingers with the media. Media is one of the most powerful instruments.
Yes.
In 2017, the media, the civil society, you know, have one way or the other kind of, you know, so play key role in terms of, you know, saying, oh, the Gambia army is not an armed forces. They are not here for the people. They were here for Jawara. They were here for Jammeh. They made so many. They made so many accusations against the armed forces. But I will tell you, the armed forces if you want to see a very disciplined force in West Africa, if you don't if you don't choose the Gambia Armed Forces, probably you are very unfair. Some of us also were in the peacekeeping. We saw, we saw how countries behave when you are in the peacekeeping. We saw how international institutions, especially UN, authorities, praise Gambia Armed Forces. How correct they are, how correct they were. If you go to Sudan, you would appreciate that the UN bodies would choose Gambia to even protect its headquarters, its force headquarters. The Gambia Armed Forces are the one that escort the force commander. In 2007 and 2008, when the Sudan conflict was at its peak, the first, African general, that was the Nigerian former chief of defense staff, General Martin Luther Agwai, was the force commander for that hybrid UN and African Union mission. He get his protection from the Gambia Armed Forces. You get me? So Gambia Armed Forces have got more experience, both in the conflict zones and both in humanitarian area. And we continue to exercise that professionalism.
Yes.
If the armed forces of the Gambia was not a professional armed forces in 2017, let me tell you, we would have not been where we are today. So because of that restraint, we continue to show that professionalism that an armed force is supposed to behave. People will say, "Oh, army, you should have stopped them and fight." No, fighting when you fight, who lose? There is no winner in conflict. Let me tell you, there's no winner in conflict.
Doctor, to be frank
so
with
we
you,
have so many, many things that binds us together between Senegal and Gambia than what divides us.
Okay, Doctor, the Gambia Armed Forces is a very professional entity, and trust me, kudos to the members of the armed forces, because we have seen what the Gambia Armed Forces was able to achieve in international peacekeeping operation, from East Timor, to Sudan, even to Central African Republic. Gambian soldiers are known to be very brave, disciplined, but many Gambians back home feel that with all what the Gambia Armed Forces is doing internationally to bring peace and security and stability, when it comes back home, they are not translating that. So as a former major in the Gambia Armed Forces, what are the challenges that the army is facing in executing its mandate of protecting the territorial integrity, the territorial sovereignty of the Gambia? Because a lot of people are saying we have an army that is not effective to handle the current border crisis, because Gambian military forces will not dare go inside Senegal and demolish a military installation and come back to Gambia the following day. What do you think are the challenges facing the military, and how can we overcome this as a country in post dictatorship Gambia, if you would like to say?
That one would say there are empirical evidences in Africa. This conflict, border conflicts, what are some of the challenges in resolving these border conflicts? Like Gambia is not an exception. One of the challenges are a system, political system. One of the challenges of border conflicts, one is political system. One. The second challenge is that political system trying to preserve, to continue, running their offices. That's number two. So when I tell you political system, we need a political will. There is a political will to allow armed forces to conduct its responsibilities. You get me? There must be a political will. I will draw you back still 2016 during the impasse. The military could have done so many things, but when that's politics, military sits and wait for orders. to able to execute, to able to translate those orders, to extract those orders and see whether they are rational or they are not rational. So the military in Africa, these are some of the border conflicts rather, these are some of the challenges. The political system and also the political, elements trying to preserve, that perpetual, running the affairs of their various countries. I will draw you back to in Nigeria, Bakassi Peninsula, Ghana, Togo, Ghana, Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
These countries have border issues.
Yeah, as we speak right now, there is a border issue between Sierra Leone and Liberia. Yes.
No, in fact, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Conakry and Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Guinea-Conakry and Sierra Leone, Guinea-Conakry and Liberia. All these countries have all these border problems. And I will tell you that even the Senegalese, none of them can tell you here is where their country, stops, or this is where it begins, or this is where it stops around the border. The only thing that you go in certain areas is when you see a peg, these concrete pegs to show you that, okay, this is the border. This is the border peg. But how does that border peg? How do we follow it to see? When you see one peg probably in Fonyi, you go to Sewol, you see one border peg, you will not see it again. You go up to maybe Tambakunda, you will not see it. You go to probably in Gilamfare, then you go to Balen, you will not see it. You go to Funta, you see the. How do we follow these borders? So borders are like an imaginary instrument that you see it is placed, and then that is it. And then so for me, I believe in institutions. In this 21st century, I believe in countries, our leaders, to respect institutions, to follow institutions. We have permanent secretariat of Senegalo-Gambia, or Senegalo-Gambia Secretariat in Bakau. When this incident happened, they were not informed. They don't know. They were only informed, just like you and I knew it. Probably you, the journalists, knew before us.
Yeah.
Because of the media, people were able to send it. But the Senegalo-Gambia Secretary, we are not there. The executive secretary of Senegalo-Gambia Secretary is a Senegalese.
Yeah, this executive secretary. Yeah.
It's a Senegalese. Why is Senegal bringing in their civil servants to be their representative in terms of when it comes to borders issues?
Maybe Senegal did that. Maybe Senegal did that strategically because they believe that having their man in Banjul at the Senegalo-Gambia Secretariat will give them, it will give them an opportunity, to fire shots in Banjul. But Doctor, before I let you, I have a lot of questions for you. I know this conversation is very interesting, and. The question is, with a good knowledge and understanding of this border conflict in Africa and beyond, what does the Senegalese army and paramilitary action along the borderlines, and how Gambia should have responded to this? What do you think of Gambia government response to this ongoing unprovoked attack by the Senegalese military and gendarmerie?
I think it takes two to entangle. So, like I said, it takes two to entangle and two to, get into conflict.
Yeah.
And Gambia is showing, it's not about maybe fear of whatever would have happened, but Gambia is playing a lead role, showing that leadership, that we cannot go for war with our very people, that we share commonalities with them because of border. But you saw when the government sent in their foreign affairs minister, Brigadier General Seri Njai, to go to Dakar. I think this is what is expected. But there is more.
But Dr. Serim Modu went to Dakar and he came back, and still Senegal is coming and attacking our border communities, saying that this land belongs to them. Hadn't been, Serim Modu did not go to Banjul, but at least out of respect for our leadership in Banjul, Senegal should have put a notice to their securities not to enter Gambia anymore until a diplomatic solution is established. But you cannot be in a dialogue when another party is still doing what they're supposed not to do, at least to give a peace a chance. What do you think?
So for me, like for me now, with all what Gambia, Gambia is trying to exhaust all these, tools, and we have seen that. So that is one of the approaches that the government, I believe. I'm not a spokesperson of the government, but I believe in, you know, peaceful solutions in terms
Yeah,
of conflict.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so that could be one of the approaches, and probably they have to also now go further with ECOWAS. If they know it's going to be biased, African Union is there. UN, they could also take the matter to African Union, and then it's escalated to UN Security Council to make sure that the international community comes to attention.
Yeah, it's put on notice. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
put on notice to make sure that this is what is happening, and then we take it because Barrow, his allegiance is to the Republic of the Gambia. It's not to the Republic of
Yeah,
Senegal.
to Senegal, yeah.
So that area he should show that leadership role to make sure that Gambians are assured of the government. He should come out and talk so that he assured Gambian people that he is aware of all these happenings, and his government is taking these approaches. So that is very, very important. People cannot be sitting and speculating. When people speculate too much, there's no information flow. There's likelihood something could even happen that it could be a threat to national security. The members of the security outfits are all watching, and they are waiting to hear from their commander in chief what he's going to say. And when information is not flowing, it becomes a devil's workshop. When people think they have no information, it becomes a devil's workshop, and everybody can do things or say things. At the end of the day, it is not going to help all these border conflict resolutions. So I think government ought to do its right, ought to do things rightly, and also inform citizens of their positions of the happenings. Every now and then you are hearing they are in Yamina, they are in Fuladu.
Fuladu, yeah.
Not helping, and people are only now waiting who is reporting. The government is sitting since that report that they sent,
yeah.
and we had the foreign minister traveled to Dakar, and what is next? Governments want to know what is happening, what the government of President Adama Barrow is doing.
Absolutely. Gambians want to know what Adama Barrow is doing to secure their border. That discussion is here right on the Alcamba Times. With me is a security risk analyst, Dr. Keba Jiba, a former major in the Gambia Armed Forces. Dr. Jiba, interesting questions and interesting conversations. What are the most significant security risks that arise when one side unilaterally alter physical infrastructure along the under-demarcated or disputed stretch of the border, as we've seen in the case of Senegal? From your own security risk, assessment and analysis.
I think there is more. There is more because we have these are all indicators of a possible, confrontation. And the government of the Gambia, as people have given them the votes to protect the Gambians and non-Gambians living in this country, they need to do the needful. Some of those needfuls, a lot of people have made those comments. Institutions are there. Like I told you, supranational bodies are there. We are heading into elections in about 4 to 5 months' time. And these are all, it could have security implications in all this to our elections. And it is the responsibility of the government to ensure there is peaceful conduct of elections. But if the people in that area felt they are not secure, think they will go when people are moved from their location to other relocated and becomes the internally displaced people. you think they'll be able to vote for the
No,
elections?
no.
And these are some of the implications. We are expecting to have, vote for a person that we believe in would take the country to another level, or probably this government that is there. We want to see, a government in place that recognizes, and that has the will, or the political will, to protect our sovereignty and borders of our country. Like I said, Gambia government has given them a lot in terms of economic. When you look at even the industrial scale, their labor, constructions, all these they have a lot of small scale businesses. Gambia is giving them a lot, providing a lot of things to the Senegalese people. That's why I said Gambia and Senegal, we have so many things that we share that binds us than this border issue. We are thinking of having that forced regional integration supposed to be Gambia and Senegal. So if those two countries, if Senegal is behaving in a manner that is below the expectations of the very institutions, that is ECOWAS, ECOWAS protocols, are they the right country now with the helm of affairs of ECOWAS? Then I think Gambia government should now look inward, to also trying to build, their borders, and also support the institutions that are responsible in securing our borders. That's both the army, the police, the immigration department. Yes, proper fundings, proper support needs to be done, not an eye lip services of supporting the security sector reform for the past 10 years. A security sector reform, I think it has more room for improvement. Some of these things I would not want to divulge here because they are more of operational military operations.
But it's okay.
Bring them. Yes.
That's our how do they call it? That's our catchword here, unraveling the truth. Alcamba Times have always been doing that, and today we have a special guest who is just doing that. Doctor, I'm taking you to Casamas conflict because Casamas conflict is the birth of all this border crisis, and Gambia has long played a role in this Casamas conflict, especially during the controversial regime of ex-president Yahya Jammeh. So tell me, the Casamas conflict has long cast a shadow over border communities. From a risk assessment perspective, how does residual instability in Casamas still influence the operational environment along the Gambia-Senegal front line today?
I think when we want to, only point fingers to Jammeh, I think sometimes we may not be very much fair enough to say that the Casamance conflict was, Jammeh was the one who, fueled it. No, we know it was Jawara started it. Jawara was there. And President Jawara benefited. Politicians, they benefited a lot from the Casamance conflict.
Politician from both, is it politician from one side or from both sides?
Yes. I would say I'm talking of only Gambia. I'm talking of the Gambia.
Okay.
I'm talking of the Gambia.
Okay.
Former President Jawara regime benefited politically from the conflict in Casamance. When I say politically, during elections, we saw communities in the border would cross and acquire,
vote.
the voters card and vote.
Yeah.
So because it was a moment that also counts on it counts on the electoral list of those voting for the government, and they benefited it, and it was fine with them. For years, Jammeh came in. This border issue from Jawara to Jammeh. Jammeh came in. He also saw the need that he benefited from the conflict, both from trade, both from
Yeah,
political, economic,
business and
businesses, all,
politically. Yeah, yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
they all benefited. When and then we saw Mustafa Kamara, when his investigation led him to Casamas for this rosewood trade.
Yeah,
We know
Mustafa
very well.
Dabo.
Yes,
Yeah, Dabo.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mustafa Dabo. Yes, Mustafa
yeah,
Dabo.
yeah.
We all knew Banjul don't have any forests, do they?
No.
We know they don't have any forest, but that
Yes,
is the loading
please,
you know
station.
uh, place
Yeah,
station for rosewood trade to China,
yeah, mhm.
right? I think so.
Yeah.
And then you are policing in Biam, policing rosewood movement in Biam. I think that's a kind of unseriousness. That one would say the government is not serious on that part. I think the origin where it is coming from, it is where
Yeah,
you're supposed to stop.
yeah.
But I can tell you, all those people also move in those rosewood. They also have the douanes in Casamas. They have the Senegalese military. Some of these militaries, they stay there they don't have monies to do whatever. They also playing, part of the
The
deals
illicit, yeah,
to be
the
paid
float of this
illicit trade.
illicit.
Yes,
Yeah,
Senegalese military are part of this illicit trade. The Senegalese military are part of it. So where are they? Where are the rosewood that are now parked at Boyam? Who is managing them? Is it not the Senegalese? Where are they taking it? They are taking it to customers. What are they doing there? Are they do they burn them or what? They don't burn them. They're also benefiting from it. And Barrow came in, he also inherited it. He also inherited the same that the two governments, that came before him, from the political, economic, they're all benefiting from it. But I would say there must be a serious, both governments need to be very serious. Both Senegalese government and Gambia government need to be very serious to ensuring that there is peace and stability in that region. But it is more what we saw now, this incursion, because of the peace in that area. The Senegalese now can patrol to Gambian lands and say, oh, these are Senegalese territory. In the past years, they don't, because it was dominated by rebels, and the Gambian government, like I said, they also play their role, making sure that there is peace in that belt. If your neighbor supports you to make sure that there is peace, and then one day you jump and then do that, you think that is fair? It is not fair. When it comes to good neighborliness, that is not a good neighborliness. So the implications are a bit high that government need to know that they are a sovereign state. What come next? Do we know now? Next could be our maritime. That's why I said it is high time the Gambia government supports both the marine resources and also our land resources. Otherwise, our people, our forefathers preserve the country called the Gambia for us to be here, and we also owe our next generations that they should also come and we hand over this country called the Gambia to them until what Allah would give. If that is not the case, then we are not fair. We saw our founding fathers of the Gambia, President Jawara, Sheriff Mustafa Diba. These are people, 50 years, 60 years, they saw this. They preserved the Gambia for us. Jammeh came, he became a no-nonsense man for the Senegalese. And Barrow came, he gave them that, he accommodated them to a state of even providing them a state house, taking them to state house to take care of his security.
Yeah.
So is it a peacekeeping? Is it a peacekeeping force or a stabilization force? The ECOWAS mission was a stabilization force. And then 10 years. You want to tell us the Gambia is not stabilized? How can a country that claims that they are here to stabilize the Gambia, and now behind our homes, they are creating another
tension.
conflict? Then Gambia should think twice. They should think twice that this is not the expected neighborliness, good neighborliness.
Yeah.
You all celebrated. You all celebrated as a new Gambia. And because their expectations is we want to have a better Gambia. We want to have new governance, structures, framework. And then now, 10 years, we are heading to the elections. The very people, the very government that is leading the force, the national security of the Gambia, preserving national security of the Gambia, is now behind and then putting fueling another flames. What is their interest? Can we say that there are some economic
interests apart from providing security?
Mineral resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Doctor, we don't have much time, but these conversations are needed in our space. That's why I bring you today to have this conversation, because as I said, you are the right person for this discussion, because this is your area of specialty and you also serve the Gambia Armed Forces. You were a former intelligence chief. You have a lot of security background. So I want to make a follow-up. Do you think couldn't the attack and demolition have been detected through military intelligence? Do you think it's a failure in intelligence sharing among the Gambia Armed Forces detecting this highly risk security operation by Senegal, coming to a block and also demolishing a 200-meter perimeter fence? Do you think it's a failure on the security and intelligence sharing? Go ahead. Doctor, can you hear me?
Yeah, you see, these are operational matters. These are security operational matters.
Right.
And I want to believe, yes, I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
I can hear you. I can hear you well. Can you?
Yeah.
Like I said, this is not about intelligence failure. This is not about intelligence failure or what. I was not there, but when the reports started coming, the military commander there, yes, there was nothing like there was not.
It looked like we lost Dr. Keba Jiba talking about the security implications of the recent Senegalese demolition of a military perimeter fence in Bullock. We'll bring back Dr. Jiba, and we are just left with probably 15-20 minutes before we wrap up this interesting conversation. But we'll take a quick break, and when we are back, we will continue the conversation.
Tune into the final take with MK Mariner every Saturday on the Alcamba Times and experience extensive conversations on a variety of topics, including national and international headlines, breaking issues, and major developments in politics, business, innovation, science, and sports, along with inspiring stories and expert analysis to provide a comprehensive understanding of the news.
Welcome back to the final take with me, Seni Marina. Our guest today is Dr. Keba Jiba. a security risk analyst, and a former major in the Gambia Armed Forces. Keba also have experience and and expert experience in border demarcation. We are talking about the recent Senegal Gambia border crisis, where we receive reports from across the country, especially in the front line, that Senegalese military have been entering the Gambia, telling our rural farmers to stop cultivating in the land they claim belong to Senegal. That's our discussion today, but it seems Dr. Jiba it's back on the show again. Dr. Jiba, welcome back to the final take. I will bring you up on the stage so we can continue this conversation. Doctor, welcome back again. Thank you.
I'm bagging.
Yes,
I think the
Doctor,
internet,
interesting. Yes,
both
welcome
network
back.
and internet is not helping.
Yeah, it's not helping you, but you are doing so well. You are managing it perfectly well because this is a conversation we can't afford to miss. You are talking about a lot of interesting stuff that Gambians need to hear from your background in the military, in border demarcation, and also in intelligence. So, Doctor, looking ahead, where do you see the greatest opportunities, challenges through improved infrastructure, clearer procedures, or regional frameworks, such as the Presidential Council Agreement, to turn the border from a point of friction into into an economic asset? Can you hear me, Dr. Jiba? Dr. Jiba, can you hear me where you are? My guest, Dr. Jiba, is still facing some internet challenges. He's doing the live interview in darkness. As we know, Banjul is also facing electricity crisis, so doctor could not even have light during this live interview. That's why you are seeing him in darkness. He's also facing challenges with his internet connection. But before then, we will just tell you the synopsis of what we are talking about here on the final take. We are talking about the unending border crisis between the Gambia and Senegal. Last week, President Barrow sending his foreign affairs minister, Mr. Njai, to Dakar, where he held a discussion with President Jamal Faye. But that discussion, according to analysts, didn't bear anything because it was just 3 days after that discussion. We seen Senegalese military going into border towns again, asking Gambian farmers at the borderline to stop cultivation or they would risk being arrested. Can you imagine? Is Senegal believing in military intervention to solve the border crisis, or do they believe in diplomatic commitment? We will all unpack that with Dr. Jiba. We have already unpacked many of it, but at least we will unpack many
I'm
more
back.
in this 15 minutes to go. Dr. Jiba, welcome back to the final take again.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I think we seeing our foreign affairs visiting Senegal, coming back, and then the next day we hear other stories that the
Yeah,
Senegalese government are in other part of our country asking the farmers to stop farming. That
yeah.
if they insist, they will get them arrested and be prosecuted. I think this are all indications that now our government, should now think twice
Mhm.
that they owe Gambians a duty.
Yeah,
Government of Barrow and President Barrow himself, as the commander in chief, owes Gambia, a huge or a great responsibility as a president. He's he promised that he is going to lead the Gambia and ensure that all people living in the country are, are protected. They are to go for their normal businesses, do whatever, what that is legitimate or lawful.
Mhm.
And here,
Dr. Keba is out again, but we are almost at the tail end of the interview. I'll bring him back again. He's having some issues connecting from Banjul, but I'll bring him back on stage. Okay. Dr. Keba, welcome back. Are you back on stage? Let me try
yes,
to bring you back on stage. Okay. Okay, go ahead, doctor.
yes, yes, I'm back again. We have
Okay.
to, move faster.
Yeah,
Yes, we have
yeah.
to move faster to, yes,
Yeah, we are
yes.
almost
I
at the
believe
tail
with
end.
all
We
what is
have
happening, that the
Mhm,
Gambia government now, as the commander in chief, that is President Barrow, should know that he is elected by the Gambian people. He's elected by the very Gambian people that he promised to take. Yes. So he has to. That's why I said his allegiance is to the Republic of the Gambia, not to the Republic of Senegal. And when you see uh, all his at the initial point of our discussion, where I said the part of majority of his security personnel are members of the Senegalese armed forces or Senegalese security forces. He should know it is Gambian people who put him there. So he should be that much, be courageous to meet his Senegalese counterpart to ensure that what is happening,
mhm,
he's not happy with it,
mhm.
and let the president of Senegal understand this. These are two countries that share borders. These are countries who have they have many commonalities. It's just the francophone and anglophone, you know, uh, that
It seems we lost Dr. Keba again on the show. I think he's having a lot of challenges with the internet and network in the Gambia. But we are just left with a couple of minutes. We'll round up the conversation and do the replay in an hour after the show, so that those who did not have the opportunity to watch the show will do so after this broadcast. So for those watching, this is the final take with me, Seni MK Marina. We'll draw the curtain here until we come your way next week again with many interesting lineup of guests to explore topics that are relevant to the masses. Many thanks to Dr. Keba Jiba, security risk specialist, and also a border demarcation expert talking to me live from Banjul, from our studios here in Seattle, to my studio operations. Dr. Keba, you are I was about to close this show, but here you are. So I will just give you to have a closing statement, and then yes, we can. Yeah, when you have your closing statement, then we can end the show. The show is supposed to be 1 hour, but looking at my clock, is 1 hour 23 minutes. That shows to you that we are having a great discussion
yeah.
that is
Okay.
hard to
Yes,
stop.
thank you.
But
Yeah,
go ahead, and then I will ask my final question. Yeah, but go ahead with
I
your
can see.
answer. Yeah,
Yes, well, exactly. I
good.
think I think I think Nawek Nawek could have Nawek could have, yes. I think, like I said, yes, President Barrow is the duty bearer for our republic, and he should understand that president comes and go, and I don't think he should. President Jaura came and he left.
Yeah.
Jame came and he left the
Mhm,
country in peacefully.
mhm.
And we want to also tell President Barrow that he's the duty bearer. He
Yeah,
bears
absolutely.
responsibility.
Absolutely.
He bears that responsibility of protecting the sovereignty.
Dr. Jiba said President Barrow bear the responsibility to safeguard the sovereignty of the Gambia. That will bring us to the end of this interview. Dr. Jiba is having issues still, so we will keep talking to expert that matter, and Doctor will probably be our guest again on this show. Until then, do enjoy the rest of our program on the Alcamba Times. Always here for you, unraveling the truth. To my technical studio backup team, Osman Jah, studio operations, thank you for holding the fort all the way in Banjul. I will see you back next week on the final take with another interesting guest. Until then, bye bye, and do enjoy the rest of the week.
Tune into the final take with MK Mariner every Saturday on the Alcamba Times and experience extensive conversations on a variety of topics, including national and international headlines, breaking issues, and major developments in politics, business, innovation, science, and sports, along with inspiring stories and expert analysis to provide a comprehensive understanding of the news.